Okay. So YouTube has officially screwed over all the deaf and really the disabled community in general, because YouTube has officially decided to get rid of community contributed captions. And YouTube, if you send me an email response to this video like you did with the first video, I probably wouldn't suggest it because it's very likely to go straight into the trash because I'm done. I'm tired. So a few months ago, I want to say back in May, I made a video because YouTube was considering getting rid of community contributed captions. And if you don't know what community contribution is when it comes to captions, it gives the ability of viewers like yourself to either A, caption our videos or translate them. So instead of me captioning an ASL video by myself, I would ask somebody to caption it for me, or instead of me captioning my English videos because I can't understand myself well enough to caption anymore. So if I did not have a caption sponsor, or if I did not have the ability to pay for captions, I could ask somebody to do it for me. This is something that I have used every so often, even as of recent, and a lot of people translate my videos into other languages. In fact, my most translated language right now is Danish. Back in May, YouTube was considering getting rid of it because they felt like people weren't using it. I, probably the only deaf person that they talked to, and the rest of them being hearing YouTubers, who very probably likely told them that they don't use it because of this and that. Why are you asking for their opinion? Some of these people were my friends, and I'm sorry, but why are they asking for your opinion, to be honest? So we had a conversation, and then YouTube, or Creator Insider rather, made a video back in May talking about how they were going to consider getting rid of it. And in the comments there was a lot of backlash, not just from the disabled community and deaf community at large, but also even some hearing people were in favor of keeping it, and I thank you very much. This is bad. This is so bad. When I said in the previous video that this was like a huge you to all of us, this is an even bigger one. And 3 days ago they wrote an official article with an unlisted video. They had it creeped in there, so like maybe they didn't want us to really notice, I guess. And so the headline says, saying goodbye to YouTube's community contributions feature after September 28, 2020. So they're not getting rid of the option right now, but they will be getting rid of it eventually. While we hope community contributions would be a wide-scale, community-driven source of quality translations for creators, it's rarely used and people continue to report spam and abuse. Both creators and viewers have reported problems with the community contributions feature, including spam, abuse, and low-quality submissions. As a result, the feature is rarely used, with less than 0.001% of channels having published community captions, showing on less than 0.2% of watch time in the last month. Instead, creators are using YouTube's alternative captioning tools. So this percentage of videos, it's still a lot. Here are a few things wrong with this. People aren't using it. One, people are using it, and you know this because I told you, the deaf community has told you, and the disabled community, basically everybody who's using it has told you, and it's a lot of people. Secondly, if anybody's not using it, it's because your system was always broken, and we told you this, and you've done absolutely nothing to fix it. And if you have a broken system that you are absolutely refusing to fix or ignoring the problems, how do you think anyone's gonna actually use it? More people would have been using it. There was already a lot of people using it, but even more people would be using it if, one, they actually knew what it was, because you never really promoted it, and you never really promoted any of us talking about it to begin with, and if you actually fixed it, if it was actually usable. But it isn't. The YouTube community contribution stuff is only available on desktop. Most people are using smartphones to consume YouTube. Some people are even using their smartphone to create and edit videos. So when your system is on desktop only, you're pushing away the majority of the market that would have been able to use it by only having it on desktop. You have a UI or a UX issue, and then you don't fix it, and therefore nobody uses it. But is this really a surprise when you have a habit of creating a new project, making it absolutely useless and unusable, and then you're like, well gee, nobody's using it and we don't know why, so let's just axe the entire project instead of actually listening to people that have been telling us over and over why this needs to be fixed or how this needs to be fixed, fixing it, and then getting people to use it. The adding feature is tucked away so that you can't even really find it. Nobody knows how to turn captions on to begin with. Every few videos, I get a comment on YouTube or I get a comment on Facebook when I link the video from YouTube to share so other people will see it. There is a comment that will tell me or even yell at me sometimes, please stop. Why aren't you captioning the videos? You're not captioning this. You're being a hypocrite. You're talking about this and blah, 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 and you're not even captioning it. But it's being captioned. But YouTube's system, YouTube's font system is making it so that it looks like nobody is. So hiding it means that people aren't going to use it. Or actually that they just straight up can't. And when it comes to people abusing the feature, which is 100% true, people will add in random commentary like on Markiplier's videos, Jacksepticeye, etc, etc. I made a whole video on that on the past. What have you ever done to actually attempt to fix it? And I don't think there was anything when we had our meeting. We decided to discontinue the community contributions feature across all channels after September 28th, 2020. You can still use manual and automatic captions as well as third-party tools and services. So this is in the creator studio or the subtitle section. You can write it out by hand, line by line. You can write out an entire transcript, or if you have a script already made, like say ContraPoints does that, I'm pretty sure, because those are long memorized, very well done videos. You take that script and you paste it into the transcript and it'll automatically time it all out. Here's the problem with having just that. A lot of disabled people need a community contribution in order to actually be able to provide subtitles. James Rath isn't going to be able to provide the captions himself. He's a blind YouTuber. He's not going to be able to do that. So he uses Rev to add captions to his videos. It's a professional service. And if you're interested in using Rev, because it is the most affordable service right now for like $1.25, and it's the most time efficient for an American audience, and my audience is mostly American, so I will have an affiliate link down below for 10% off your first order. But yeah, so he uses that, but a lot of disabled people, we are like, probably, from what I remember seeing in statistics, you can tell me if I'm wrong, we are like some of the lowest there in the bottom of the pyramid when it comes to income. We are extremely unemployed and underemployed, and it's legally allowed to underpay us. It is legally allowed to pay us under minimum wage. So like a lot of us aren't even going to be able to afford captions, especially since average video length is like 8 to 10 minutes long, sometimes longer. This video is going to be way longer than that. Having the option to have volunteers contribute made it so much easier, because there are so many people that are offering to caption videos. Also, going back to people not using it or submitting the files, your notification system is broken. Your notification system is broken when it comes to sub boxes. Your notification system is broken when it comes to receiving subtitle files. I remember way back when every once in a while, this was actually very rarely, I would get an email that says, hey, you got a translation waiting to be approved. I don't get those. And since everything is kind of hidden and all wonky in the new creator studio, nobody's really going to be able to see that. So of course nothing's going to get approved when we don't even know if there's something there to begin with. And I love how YouTube and also a lot of creators were also saying something like this: no other captioning tools are going away beyond community contribution. You can still add your own captions or your automatic captioning. That doesn't make it any better. And I know a lot of it is ignorance, but it's just so frustrating when a lot of these abled YouTubers were talking down at, or what it seemed like talking down, like being like, well, I know more than you about stuff like this that we have very good experience with. And I'm like, the captions aren't going away, just this thing. And I'm like, if we're talking about why this is so important, if we're very upset about why this feature is going away, don't you think that we might know what is more accessible or what is more efficient? And we don't need the able-splaining coming towards us, right? And of course, they're talking about how automatic captioning will still be available. Automatic captioning is not good. Is it way better than what it was 5-something years ago? Oh yeah. The words are a little bit more correct, although you're including racial slurs in it now for some reason, and I don't know why. But the grammar is horrible. Everything is just one run-on sentence or paragraph. This timing is terrible because word, 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 and then it like it's like a little block, it's like a little Tetris block, and it's so slow and clunky that it makes it so hard to like be able to follow along, at least for me. And also now YouTube has this weird thing where every caption comes like right here when it's automatic. It's like a very short or a very small square, but the rest of it is one blank like gray background drop shadow, and it's the most awful looking thing, and that actually makes it harder for me to follow along because of this square right here, and then the rest of this like weird empty rectangle. It's so bizarre to me. We know many of you rely on community captions, and thanks to the feedback we received, YouTube will be covering the cost of a 6-month subscription of Amara.org for all creators who have used a community contribution for at least 3 videos in the last 60 days. So anybody who's using it in the future, maybe a disabled creator, isn't going to be allowed to have this free 6-month subscription. That's not good. You had all this feedback, how to possibly fix it and everything else, but you ignored that feedback, and instead you're just like, well, here's 6 months for free, and then you're gonna have to figure it out on your own. It's such a big screw you to all of us that heavily relied on it. The solution is not to make it go away. The solution was to try to fix it, but you wouldn't even try to fix it. And then acting as if these other solutions that you have are going to do anything, no. Unless you're suddenly able to give all disabled creators some sort of like better income with AdSense or something, like nobody's gonna be able to use Amara for more than 6 months. So now we're gonna go backwards and not be able to have any accessibility. Community contribution is what has given us so much accessibility. If we didn't have this feature, so much more of YouTube would be inaccessible. Also, for the record, any community contributed captions that are available on videos now throughout the rest of the time that it's available, they're gonna remain on videos, so you don't have to worry about the file suddenly disappearing. It's uploaded, it's there, so at least there's that. So there's the first bit. That's from when they first announced that they were completely getting rid of it. And then they made a video, an unlisted video. Is it even captioned? I wonder. First, let's check that out. Okay, it's properly and professionally captioned, so at least there's that, because if you remember, I really had to go with YouTube on the previous video and even privately about how they were making these help videos, and even that first announcement video that they made was horribly and incorrectly captioned, and it was just like you keep digging yourself deeper, right? So to basically summarize what was coming from the new video, but I will have it linked down below. Too much engineering effort to move the existing community captions feature to YouTube's new infrastructure. They got negative feedback on the previous Creator Insider video about getting rid of community captions from creators that were using the feature, and also from accessibility advocates and deaf and hard of hearing people, but that didn't matter. Looked at a third-party solution to bridge the gap for those group of people. Community contribution was your bridge gap. Anything else that you're thinking of is not gonna work right now. New captions editor being worked on, focused on efficiency, integration with automatic captions, improved assigned timings feature, improved auto-translate feature. I can't comment on whether or not the auto-translate is any good, so if anybody has tried it, let me know. Looking to build permissions role to just allow people to work on captions and translations. This was an idea that I had. Well, I think maybe they brought it up first and then I was agreeing with it, or maybe we both had it in our heads. The ability to like assign mods to a YouTube channel, kind of like Twitch but different, to allow people to be able to translate or caption videos. I don't hate that idea actually, so just assigning it so it's just specific people, and I could actually do that for some languages for sure. But they're having this thing about like editor without revenue. Hold on. Okay, so the editor limited without revenue permission. This role will be able to edit all parts of a creator's content, which is more than just captions. This includes editing titles, descriptions, thumbnails, replying to comments, etc. It is not yet available, but is in the works. It's therefore not a perfect replacement, but we do have teams working on new and better tools for captioning needs. In one way, I like the idea of being able to have mods, like I said. But this seems like it's too much for comfort. Yeah, you might want to have somebody that's like a close friend do that, but if you were to have anybody else do it, even if you had a close friend do it, it would still be a risk because you're giving them permission to have all sorts of things. It's like giving a stranger the information to my bank account, right? If there's any bad blood that happens here, everything could just go wrong like that. So like, yeah, it's a good thing that captions will be included. It's kind of like having that community contribution feature, but it's a little bit of a security risk. And I wouldn't, even my most trusted mod, I wouldn't want him to have all of those permissions. Just no. Like that's just a risk. It doesn't matter how much of a great mod he is to me on Twitch and how he does caption my videos from time to time and everything else. As much as that is awesome and I greatly appreciate him for that, I would not be comfortable giving him all of that. If you were to give permissions for just captions, sure, but to have all of that, like, that just weirds me out. People were concerned that YouTube and Amara were having like some sort of business deal, and that's why they were closing the free feature, because YouTube is a business and they want money like any other business. Oh yeah, from a business standpoint, I get that. But they said that they're not monetizing any transactions, so it's not a business deal. They're just trying to do it out of the goodness of their hearts, I guess. But here's the thing with Amara, from what people have told me, there's a big discussion happening on my Discord right now. Back then, Amara was very, yo, let everybody come in and help, right? And now it seems like they're changing things. Like now you have to have a 6-month subscription in order to use them. So that means you have to pay. But also just the fact that you had to have already used community contribution within the last 60 days. So nobody's able to be eligible for it from now until September. So that's pushing away more accessibility, more accessible content. And going through the thread where people are leaving comments, one person made a very good point. The community contribution feature is so important for colleges. A lot of colleges, you know, despite the ADA being around and everything, and the CVA being around, a lot of colleges will not provide transcripts or have caption videos readily available. So the community contribution feature was extremely helpful for deaf and hard of hearing and other disabled students, auditory processing disorder, etc., etc. So when Hero said, frankly, this is crap. YouTube features and UI change so regularly you don't give individuals and institutions enough time to learn about and incorporate the functionality into our workflows. Our college depends on our captioners being able to submit captions via community contributions, but like many colleges, this is a new practice. We just figured out a process for captioning our videos. We are struggling to caption all of our digital content in general, and now a critical tool is being taken away for no good reason other than our volume of use is too small to be valued by YouTube. How can our professors get third-party captioning support now? Your options are 1. Pay outrageous rates to a third-party provider, or 2. Give out their personal login to a captioner. Exactly. You think disabled people are going to be able to like throw money at these companies? Even with companies like Red that used to be $1 a minute but are now $1.28. That adds up. I can't even afford it on a regular basis because I don't make enough money to do that. Gip Nova says the percentage numbers are also misleading. With the number of channels on YouTube, 0.001% still translates to tens of thousands of channels that user will rely on community contribution captions. The only thing this change will achieve is making this platform less accessible for disabled people. And then we have more threads by other deaf people going around because they watch the updated video about it. And one thing about the new Creator Insider videos that they spent 15 minutes on the video not discussing why the community captions don't have greater usage. YouTube never consulted fan subbing community on how collaborative workflows function, like adding quality control role to prevent abusive submissions until 11 months ago. There is no mention if they consulted professional subtitlers on how they handle workflows. Many subtitlers don't like automatically generated scripts. They use other tools to speed up the workflow. They never address YouTube actively hiding community contributions, or that is only available on desktop, which only 20 to 30% of YouTube users interact with the platform. Nor does YouTube talk about how anonymity plays a role in this trust of accepting contributions. YouTube doesn't really talk about how this function exists, but the majority of video uploaders didn't know they can rename subtitle tracks. Knowing if the subtitle is fan submitted or officially approved would go a long way in building trust. YouTube doesn't talk about how some uploaders literally have to remind people to turn on the captions, or that marginalized language users known as sign language people, for example, are harassed for uploading non-English videos, already subtitles, with waves of commenters asking for subtitles. But sure, people who don't use the features instead of oops, it's our fault that it's not used more often. One more thread that I want to look at, because I know this video is going to be so long, but this is so, you all know, I've been talking about this for so long. How long have I been talking about captions on YouTube? 5 years now? Obviously, this is something that's very important to me, and constantly I've been trying to get them to listen to me and anybody else that's talking about captions, but you know, we get these little bits of praises and emails and tweets and stuff being like, yeah, we know who you are and we love your work, we love that you're so passionate about this and da da da, but hey, screw you, we're gonna do this instead. Like, we're just not going to listen to you. Like, I'm so mad because I care so much about this. Not just because I need it, like as a deaf person I need this stuff, but for everybody else. So I know somebody's probably gonna give me the, you know, angry deaf woman title, but oh well. So my friend Christina was talking about how, like, they don't even talk about sign language users, sign language creators. What's the auto-captioning gonna do? Signing deaf creators will often have hearing people who know ASL, or like other deaf people who know both ASL and English, or insert, you know, your native sign and spoken language here. Other people will be volunteers for either providing the transcript. This also happens on Facebook, but other people will be providing it because maybe the creator can't, you know, add the transcript or add the subtitles, because translating is very tiring. And I'm not talking about like a hearing person captioning English. They can understand themselves or understand the person, and all they have to do is copy the word. It's word for word. Like, yes, it can take a little bit of time and you gotta listen and listen and listen, but you have access to language there. But when it comes to using ASL, for example, and then having to translate it into English, you're using two different languages, and not everybody's fluent in English and written English, so you're relying on somebody else to be able to provide the transcript. So again, what are signing deaf people supposed to do? Like, yeah, you could have a voiceover like I do for my ASL videos, and yeah, that'll caption the video automatically, but most don't have that. Most signing creators aren't going to have somebody to do a voiceover for them. It's just more work. YouTube, what are signing deaf creators going to do? How is auto-captioning going to help us there? That's why we needed the community contribution, and we need it in a way that doesn't let people have our personal login info and permission rights to like so many things on our channel. I hate this, and this video is so long, but there's so much information to talk about how this happened in the beginning, on where it's at now, and where it's going to be at in the end. Right now, there is a petition going. There might actually be multiple petitions going on to try to make YouTube stop this stopping of the community contribution. I don't know if these things work. I do know one petition in particular went beyond the goal of signatures. To do these things actually work, I don't know. I would love to see it work, because I think a lot of people think that this is a completely wrong move on their part. It's full of disrespect and it's nonsensical, and yeah, I'm not down with it. I'm not down with it. It's gonna do more hurt than it's gonna do good. I will have the information linked down below in the description box, the videos, the articles. If more comes out by the time that this video goes up, I will have it all linked down below, because things are probably still gonna be changing. So if I didn't say something in this video, it's because it came out after I'm filming. So if you would like to help sign that petition, you can go to the Creator Insider videos, especially that unlisted one down below, and say your piece on that. I highly request, I ask, I would very much appreciate if you would share this video, because it needs to be known. It's a very important topic, and I don't really want to go down without a fight. So please share this video with everyone that you know across all your platforms. You have one follower, that's one more person that knows about it. If you would like to translate this video, since you have a couple of months left, you have a month left. You have 2 months. You have a month. 2 months? All of August and all of September. Wow. If you would like to translate this video for the remainder of time that we had left, that link will always be down below. I very much appreciate you being here for as long as you have. If any of you have captioned videos, volunteered, help brought awareness, I thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I will see you later. Bye.